Hi all, I am Muhammad Altaf and you're watching Live Attitudiously channel. So if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon for latest tech updates. So in this video, we'll be talking about what are the differences between the compiler and the interpreter. So firstly, we'll go with the compiler. Now what is compiler? A compiler is a software program that processes the statements of a particular programming language and converts it to machine understandable code. So keeping it simple, we can tell that a compiler is a language translator that converts high-level programming language into machine understandable code. Or the machine language can be easily understood by telling that the language which the computer processor can understand. Back to the interpreter. So what is an interpreter? An interpreter is a computer program that directly executes the instructions written in a program. It does not require the source code to be compiled, or it does not require it to be converted into machine understandable code. So keeping it simple, an interpreter is a software program that does not require the source code to be compiled, or it does not require the code to be converted into machine understandable language. It directly executes the statements written in the program. So that was the first difference between the compiler and the interpreter. Clear explanation of the differences, I'll share a picture and I'll explain the differences between the compiler and the interpreter. So stay tuned.
So here, coming back, the input, the compiler takes an entire program at a single time, whereas an interpreter takes a single line of code or instruction at a time. Taking an entire program at a single time is the compiler, and taking a single line of code for execution at a single time is an interpreter. Output, the compiler generates intermediate object code, whereas interpreter does not produce any intermediate object code. The compiler, in this, the compilation is done before the execution, but in interpreter, the compilation and execution take place simultaneously. Firstly, the compilation gets completed and then it goes for the execution, but in interpreter, the compilation and execution takes place parallelly. To the fourth comparison, that is the speed. Compiler is comparatively faster and interpreter is comparatively slower. Interpreter because it takes an entire program at a single time and compiles it, whereas an interpreter goes line by line. The memory. In compiler, memory requirement is more due to the creation of object code, whereas in interpreter, no object code is generated. Entire program at a single time and compiles it, so the memory requirement is more due to the creation of object code, whereas this doesn't happen in interpreter. Is the errors. In compiler, it displays all the errors at a single time, but in interpreter, it displays errors of each line one by one. Error detection. In compiler, error detection is difficult, but in interpreter, it is easier as it shows line by line errors. In programming languages, which the compiler uses is C, C++, C#, and in interpreter, you can see PHP, Perl, Python, these are the things. Comparisons between the compiler and the interpreter. If you like the video, please subscribe for latest tech updates and do share the video.